All right, everybody. So today we're talking to the amazing Chris and Lelly. It's awesome to see you two again. It's not like it's been that long, but
No.
still, it's awesome to see you two again. And you're in one spot, which is also awesome. Like so often the times we've seen you two, you've had to be like Chris to call it in from work and you call it in from home.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That is awesome. Well, I'm excited to talk to you because you two have such an amazing story and you've been such amazing clients. So let's kind of jump in and we'll go deeper into things. But just to start off, just kind of introduce yourselves. You wouldn't mind, like how long you've been together, how you met, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay. We've been together for 15 years. We actually met, if y'all remember, the whole time before instant messengers, there were the Yahoo chat rooms. We met on Yahoo chat room, Pennsylvania 16. It started off as a conversation of like, hey, care to chat?
He was the first guy I ever gave my phone number to online, and he's been the last. So
Win, right? First guy you gave your phone number to online, he turned out to be a reasonable human and like not a stalker. So that's definitely a win.
it was a perk, yeah.
But no, yeah, the story is we went from there and then we met.
We met at Thanksgiving time, got engaged at Christmas, and were married the following December.
Yep.
Well, January was when our daughter was born. So it was like a whole big whirlwind of everything. So
That's awesome. And you've got quite a few little ones now, right?
yes.
Yeah, we have four.
That's one thing I love when you talk about it as we go. One thing I loved so much was watching you as you went through and you two learned things, like taking some of the tools and stuff you learned back to your kids and watching that. That was absolutely amazing.
Our youngest actually just and what else somebody at school the other day because they were having an argument on the playground. And he was like, I can see you're mad. Do you need to talk? And the kid started talking and he was like, and what else? And the teacher actually told me about it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, it worked.
I love that so much.
Yeah, so many times, we talk to, our past clients, and one of the things that they say is like, I go back and I teach some of this stuff to my kids and I apply it, with them, and then they get to see how their communication and how they're showing up in all of their relationships, not just their romantic relationships, but all of their relationships and how that's impacting them as parents. So yeah, it's always awesome hearing those stories.
And
like, guys, I don't know how to express to y'all how much me and Lelly appreciate y'all, you two, Amanda, how much love and mad respect we have for y'all and what y'all do. Like,
words aren't enough.
Yeah, there's not enough words to describe it, to be very, very honest about it. And the information that y'all provide, it doesn't just apply to romantic relationships. It literally applies to every aspect of your life and is a completely life-changing course. Honest to God. But it really does make a huge difference. Even like with my coworkers, they have seen my interactions where where things got kind of heated, but how with using the tools that I learned in MOR was able to come to mutual agreements with my bosses and coworkers where neither one of us could come to it was a complete stalemate in conversation, but we were able to actually work through that stalemate into a mutual amicable positive situation, all thanks to the stuff that y'all teach. Honest to God, it's life-changing. And like, Cassie, Josh, I wish you're like, honest to God, there's not words.
There's not.
There's really not words that I can actually put to explain the differences that y'all's program makes. Like,
You're gonna get me choked up. Let's jump in a little bit. So just can you tell us a little bit about where you were at, like, before you came to us, like, kind of a little bit of not the big backstory when it happened, but just a little bit of like, kind of like,
It was
what
not
had happened to bring you to that point and where you two were at.
good. It was not good. There was divorce was on the table, but we couldn't. I couldn't face that. That was not an option for me. He didn't want that either. And we were like, okay, so are we just going to live ugly with each other the rest of our lives, or what's going on? And now it's, I mean, furthest thing from my mind. Furthest thing from his too, I think.
No, yeah, definitely.
Okay, good.
But no, it's I came through. I was very, 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 very self-centered and not communicative of what my needs were, and really even expressing concern for anybody else. Like, it wasn't necessarily that my mind wasn't there, but I never expressed it to anybody. I never put myself in a relationship, if that makes sense. I didn't know how to give that. And my personal self-worth it wasn't where it should have been. So I ended up taking everything and giving nothing back. And that's completely not the case.
That's not the case anymore. Yeah. Our dresser's still cleaned off, Cassie.
We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that in a second. So with that, and one of the things that I'll just kind of put a point in is that, this is a common problem that couples have, right? Is that we don't learn how to love and show up in a way in our relationships where we are valuing ourselves and we're valuing our partners, right? Like, we come to the table not necessarily having that. There isn't like a good playbook for romance, right? I would be interested in you talking about kind of where you were at, because like Chris talked about where he was. What was the big challenge for you? Like, I know you had a lot of fear when you started.
I did. I just had to kind of push past it a little bit, in a way of like, okay, you know what, if he's going to yell, if we're going to argue, it's just going to happen, but I need to do this, and I need to actually be able to show up for myself, for the kids, for him, and I need to do this. And I realized, with his changes and me being willing to take those steps, even in fear, that it could get even like 10 times better. So, I mean, right before talking to you, me and the kids threw together supper, and he was out working on stuff, and like, we're planning swimming after this, and it's like a whole big mess, but we're making it work because we're being a team. And now it doesn't matter which way that things get done, as long as they get done and we can all succeed.
I wanna come back to that being a team, because that is a huge part of the way that you two have shown up through this process. But Lelly, I'm gonna bump you a little bit on Cassie's question, which is before, right? Like, before you two came here, when stuff was going kind of south, Chris talked a lot about kind of how that was impacting him. But for you, like, how was that impacting you day to day? Where you two were at?
I shut down. I had like completely shut down. I was like, okay, do what you want. I don't care. I'm going to take care of the house and the kids, and, we'll argue about it later. I don't care anymore. And now I voice my opinion. Half the time it works out very, very well. The other half, we need to have further discussions, but it gets out, and things are doing so much better. I can feel myself having a personality again.
And Chris, for you, like, I'm curious for you, like, why was it so important? Like, when stuff was going rough, because so many people just kind of like give up there, right? And like, oh, this is what it is, or we'll break up, or we'll just keep living like this. Like, for you, why was it so important to fix the relationship and get to the place that you're at now?
Well, largely because of the fact that I love my family and I love Lelly. And it was never that I didn't love her. It was I didn't know how to show up the way I needed to. I never put in my side of the argument. I never put in my side of the fight or my side of the positive. And like I was saying the other day, one of the big struggles that I had was actually slowing down enough to do that. And for me, effort is slowing down. Like, because if not, I'll run 90 miles a minute and just keep going. So it was really slowing down and learning how to communicate properly and not having to do it by myself.
Which goes back to that whole team that the two of you are really, striving to always be now.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you two remind me? Like, what had you two tried to fix things before you came here? What did
We
you
tried
two do?
separation. We tried not talking for about 2 weeks. We tried therapy. We tried books. We tried counseling, which is, the church version of it. We were waving at a kid. They were letting us know that supper was ready.
So as far as I know, you said you tried therapy, you tried counseling. I'm just curious for you two, like, why do you think that didn't get you to where you needed to go? Was it there wasn't enough guidance with it, and you were more just like venting at each other? Was it something else?
Well, the one counselor actually recommended a divorce, and we were like, that's not going to fix us. That's going to separate us, and we don't want that. Another therapist did the whole not talking for 2 weeks thing, and we were just like, these methods are not working for us as people, because he's still my best friend regardless if we were together or not. I mean, I'm still going to talk to the man every day. The kids are still going to see him every day. I mean, we have a routine with the kids every night where they call and say goodnight to daddy even when he's at work. So I mean, it's that we're stuck together, and I'd prefer to fight with him side by side than fight with him against each other the rest of my life, if that's what it took.
It takes a lot. It really, really does. And now I'm actually putting forth that effort. Now I'm not going to say that I'm perfect, because by all means, we all still struggle. Like that, every once in a while, I will do my damnedest to try to slow down, and I still wind up slipping and forgetting stuff. And like, hey, well, wait a second. Yeah,
That's true, but there's also times like tomorrow where I'm too nervous to drive 6 hours away, and you're willing to spend the day in the car with me and the kids just to help me with my anxieties. So, I mean, he's getting pretty good at it. I'll give him that. He's getting pretty damn good at it.
How has and we can just I'm gonna skip to this for a second, but like, because this is one thing that has been amazing watching you two, but how has that teamwork between you two changed? Because that's something we've gotten to see kind of day in and day out since you've been here, and you've done an amazing job.
Instead of now, it's just my to-do list, because I'm a visual person. I have to mark it off and everything. I do that every night before I go to bed, and now it's part of our routine. During one of his breaks at work, we make our to-do list for the next day, and we figure it out together instead of just hey, you're going to do this and I'm going to do that. And it's like, okay, no, what do we need to work on together?
And it sounds kind of, I know this is going to sound kind of strange, but it seems like since I've slowed down, I seem to get more done. Like I used to run around like a chicken with my head cut off and never be able to actually get anything completed because it was just always run. I've got to do this. I got to do that. I've got to do that. Blah, blah, blah. But now it seems like that I'm actually slowing down and strangely enough, taking my hands off of stuff and stuff's getting finished.
When you
It's like I literally take my hands off of it and it actually gets done. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. And the other thing that's been so cool is like you two didn't have like, I mean, nobody has a smooth road fixing a relationship, but you two didn't have a smooth road lifetime, like life-wise while you were here, right? Everything from like, I don't remember if it was the storm or stuff, but to where the power was out to like the kid and the house, and I'll just leave that.
Catching COVID.
Yeah, catching COVID,
Everything.
house fires to.
Yeah, it was a house fire our first week and COVID our last two. So yeah, we were in for it. It was like,
but how different was it for you two with all that life stuff going on, being able to show up to it as the amazing team that you two have turned into?
it was kind of awesome. I mean, we had our rocky bumps, and I like don't regret those though, because they were like amazing stepping stones that we don't have to repeat. We're like, okay, we did this didn't work, we're not doing that again. So
yeah,
and we were able to be guided through it and guided back, and it was just like awesome because we're still here.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's awesome. What about for you, Chris, with working through COVID and everything like that with you two side by side? What was the best part of that for you? Because that was fun.
The best
I mean, it wasn't fun to watch you two have COVID, but it was fun to watch you two work together.
The best part of it was not feeling like I was doing it, having to deal with it by myself. It was like for the first time ever, I actually felt like I had support. And it was literally because I was letting Lelly be supportive. Instead of being like, no, you know what? I'm not worth this. You are, but not me. And that was one of the big changing factors in our relationship, was me being like, you know what? I am worth this. I am worth effort. I'm worth my own effort. Because when you don't put in your own effort, that's when stuff really starts sliding. When you don't have that value for yourself. It lets everything go.
I think it was like week 4 and something clicked in him and he was like, damn it, I have value. And it was just amazing to see that transformation. And like, I kind of felt like I finally broke through that brick wall that I've been hitting on for years. Like, hey, you can do this. You know, I don't have to just be the supportive helpmate now. It's like, now we can be each other's supportive helpmate. And it's made like the world a difference whenever he started valuing himself and, you know, hey, it's okay. I think it was about week 4 that the wall finally broke, and it was awesome.
That's awesome. And what were some of those first changes that you noticed when you two started?
Communication. Like, for me, it took a lot for me to open up and like start using the I sentences. But we kind of made a joke of it for when we did have the house fire. Like, please be careful when you're changing that electrical cord. I don't want you to get shocked. And like, so that kind of, and so we made a joke out of it at first. And then it was like, okay, well, yeah, I could do that. I did that. I'm going to keep doing that for me. And there was some backsliding, I'll admit, but now I even text with full sentences. So I'm proud of me.
Except you don't text. about your
No,
relationship stuff.
I text him while he's at work because he can't always get phone calls. So I don't text important stuff though.
There
Yeah, we don't have heavy discussions in text message.
There we go.
I think the heaviest discussion we had was toothbrushes. So I mean,
You did not just seriously.
don't even finish that sentence. But it was a most serious conversation.
So when we first chatted and we had like our first like one-on-one session, because you brought up that things are still clear on the dresser, right?
Yes.
So you want to tell a little bit about that like experience, because you know what's that?
But if he can stop laughing.
I'm sorry, Lelly just tapped on my Sata son.
So
I apologize.
It was one of the baby steps that you had asked us to do. And it was like, one of my big pet peeves is clutter. And one of his hobbies, it seems like, is like filling any place that I clear off. And so it was just our dresser. And since the dresser, it's moved to the nightstand too. The nightstand's clear, and he's even organized. And he okay, I'll handle this. And he's even like transitioned it to some of the other of the house. So
in just a few minutes.
It's been kind of a pretty cool thing to see how it's just grown from baby steps to like giant steps now.
and that's really like the premise of a lot of the things that, you know, we do with our clients, right? Is, you know, it's really hard to tackle things, this huge giant thing, without recognizing that there's all these little pieces to getting there. And that was one of the things that I really enjoyed as far as watching the two of you is, you know, any little piece that we gave you, the two of you were like, let's do it. Let's implement it. Let's swip, take different, you know, approach, try something else, and growing on that. So I think it's awesome that even though it was something that was only supposed to be a 2-week thing, right? Like, hey, check out the dresser or whatever, that it's something that you're continuing to do and to grow on because you recognize it being such a powerful impact on Lelly.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, like, you know, where you guys are at now, right? Stuff's looking pretty good. And I'm curious, like, what are you two most excited about going forward with each other and your family and going forward from here? It's most exciting. Most looking forward to.
I'm just ready to get back to regular everyday life. Like today, I was thrilled that our local grocery store, we didn't have to wear a mask. Like I want to take the whole family on a vacation this summer without a mask. Like just little everyday life things I find absolutely thrilling. Like we had a puzzle day the other day, and it was like we did 4 puzzles and just sat together, not talking, doing puzzles. And I love doing nothing with him. Like, because we're both just able to relax and just be in each other's presence.
It's awesome. What about you? What about you, Chris?
I would have to say what's most exciting about the way we're doing things now is the fact that I feel like I actually have more downtime to spend with the kids, with Lelly, and everyone else. Like it's made life easier. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. Isn't it interesting how clearing all that time that we're wasting on
Stress
stress
arguments
and going back and forth over and over and over again on the same topics and arguing and wasting time. Isn't it amazing how much that clears up when that's changed?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to put out there, I'm just curious, like, what are the big takeaways? Like you'd like anybody kind of watching this understanding you'd have for people who are listening who might be in the same shoes that you were in?
Mine was all about perspective, quite honestly, and the journaling, because I think I said it on when we were leaving, but I journal every week, celebrations at the beginning of the week, end of the week, and the weekend, like what we're celebrating, either about each other or like I have one with the kids and then I have one with me and Chris. And then I have like my brag book, and I do 2 things in it every day. Like, I'm grateful that he did this and he made my life easier by doing this every day. And it's like, okay, you know what? It could have been like the worst day. I could have put baking soda in my coffee or like something, you know, starting my day off horribly and ending horribly, but I find something good about us every day about it. And for me, it made the biggest difference was just being willing and wanting to change my perspective about the day.
It's an awesome distinction. Awesome distinctions from both of you. Although, Lelly, I have to say that baking soda comment was oddly specific and kind of makes me wonder what happened, what tragedy happened there.
What tragedy happened with that coffee?
What tragedy happened with the coffee. So, one more thing I want to make sure we hit. I loved your two's tea set story so much. I think we'd asked you and actually shared that a while back.
Yeah.
But you know, me writing it obviously is not the same thing. I'd love to hear from your two's end, just how that kind of came about, and what that kind of meant to you both, because that was awesome.
Well, I love to paint, and that's like I'm a very artistic type person. I love crafts, and he knows that. And in our local mall, there was Artsy Doodle, and you could paint your own ceramics. So we painted our own ceramics, and I got a cup, he got a cup, and we did the teacup together. And on the teacup, we have a heart on one side and our anniversary on the other. And I thought whenever we first did it that he put our actual anniversary on it. And turns out he put our day 0 date on it. And that's our new anniversary because we're in a completely different relationship now. So
it was like literally our anniversary from July 23rd. It's where our lives began together, but where our relationship actually started was day 0, February 7th.
And just to specify what day 0 is, just because folks might be like, what's a day 0? When we work with our clients, you know, we talk about sort of having a new slate, right? And you know, there's a lot more that goes into it than just saying, oh, it's now a clean slate, right? But the fact that you two recognize, like, we are going to, from this day forward, walk this path, this life, our relationship together, you know, and you meant it. Like, look at where you are now and how you're showing up together. And you chose to do that with having guidance and having support and having help, but you made that decision, you made that commitment to walk together and to do that going forward.
And Cassie, can I add to that? Absolutely. And for me personally, my day 0 came at a cost of a lot of heartache and a lot of pain and dealing with my own personal problems that I wasn't ready to face at the point in time, until I was like, you know what? I need to face this. This is causing strife in our relationship. So it took me dealing with me so that I could show up in a much better way. And me accepting forgiveness and my own humanness in myself to get to the point of day 0. It's a big thing. It really, really is.
Like Cassie said, like watching you two and watching you two work together as a team, right? And you two really did. You really chose at that point to move forward together, right? And even though it is always a journey, you know, whether it's one person or 2 people, however many people, you know, it depends. But while it is always a journey of the way we grow our relationships is by growing ourselves, like we said before, right? The way we transform a relationship is you transform the people in it. There is still an aspect of teamwork to a relationship, right? And you two have just shown up amazingly, whether it has been to the course, to house fires, to COVID, to stuff with your kids, right? Everything. And just, looking forward to watching you continue to do that. And one thing that I've been, did I talk about this? I'm trying to think if I talked about this in Momentum, but I don't think so. I talked about it actually with some of our clients a day or two ago. I'm writing something about this now, but one thing that you said that I think is really important, that's where my brain's at right now, right? Is, talking about how much more time it feels like you have. And, like one thing for all of us, right, is like we want more time with our partners, we want more time with our families. And not only do we want more time, but we want more time where we're present, right? We want more time that feels good, that feels connected, that moves us closer together. And what stops that from happening, even when we have the time, and we all have some time, right, is all the other stuff that stands up and builds in the way, right? It's that arguing, it's that resentment, it's that worry, like you two said, like looking at like divorce, right? And we've got 4 kids. It's all those things that stand in the way that keep us from getting to that point where we can really be truly present and connected with the people in our lives, right? And I just wanted to pull that out of this for people, because I think that's such an easy thing to overlook in what you said, but it's such an important thing. Is all of a sudden, now that you two have started approaching things as a team and you've overcome a lot of those challenges, right? How much more present you're both able to be with each other and with your family during the time that you have. And that's precious.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
That is a definite.
Like I said, you two have been amazing, and we're going to continue to see you because you're going to keep coming to Momentum, and you're going to keep growing, and we're going to keep watching your Facebook posts. We're here for you too. You know that.
We're here for y'all. Y'all ever need any venting or anything like that?
Oh.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us and letting other folks hear a little bit about your story and your family and all the growth. And it is such a joy seeing all the smiles that you've had today and talking about the two of you. So, and that's one thing that I've said about the two of you from the get-go is, you had definitely an abundance of problems and challenges, but you came in still with an abundance of love and really wanting to get to that place where you can enjoy that love that you have with each other.